All right, hopefully that looks a little better. A little blown out. Hold on. I'll get these right one day. Okay, I gotta pull this up so I can see the comments. So I bought this new little audio thing that's supposed to give me good audio. So I'm just gonna listen back to my voice really quick. Nice. Does it sound cleaner than the last one? I don't know how many of you guys were in the last one, but does it sound better? I'm like waiting. Lewis says it looks and sounds good. Nice. I love all these people that are just recently finding me. It's so crazy. It's been so fun. Pixel Face just subscribed today. Thank you, man. Visuals and production are A1. Love it. Dean, good shooting, good videos. The fact that you don't have more subscribers blows my mind. I'm working on it. It's been crazy. A lot of growth in this last week. I feel like it's been super crazy, but fun to see. Brady just found me too. Keep the great work. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm realizing that like YouTube stuff is just really full time. This isn't what I do. Full time is just a passion that really turned into something. I feel like so. I'm hoping that it'll keep growing, so one day I can devote a lot more time to it. But yeah, right now it's just it's been crazy. I'm gonna listen to this too. Let's make sure. Oh wow, the closer I get, the better it sounds. But I think I'm gonna stay in this range. Just got a recommendation for your 300 blackout pistol video. Oh, just got a recommendation for you. Maybe from me? For me? 300 blackout pistol video. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. Always happy to help. I'm glad that you're finding inspo on the builds. That's what I created the channel for. I mean, that's what I created the website for, just so people can see what I did and hopefully learn from my mistakes. And if it looks cool, then I love that. Savvy, you ever check out the channel I showed you? Yeah, really cool stuff. I'm gonna have to watch a lot more of it. I didn't get to see a lot, but I thought their stuff was cool. 562, like your awesome videos. Thank you, man. Abraham, amazing videos, bro. I just discovered you a couple days ago. It's so crazy the growth that happened over the last couple days and like the last week. Once I hit 10K, it like rocketed up. I have no idea what happened. Maybe my content got pushed out from YouTube after 10K. I'm not sure. Ryan, considering Johnny Glock's combat trigger in the Glock 19 Gen 5, how's yours treating you? I really like Johnny Glock's triggers. I think they are all really solid. He puts in a lot of work. I've talked to him a lot. He puts in a lot of work to make sure that his quality is up to par. And I mean, he touches every product. He polishes them with him and his team. And that guy's just cool. He does a lot of good stuff. So I think they're underrated, personally. because he's not a big business. He's really just like a small guy and like four other people that help him run the show. So he's got some good stuff. Pixel Face, do you own any AKs? I'm an AK goon at heart. Stay tuned. That's all I can say. Just stay tuned. Lewis, where are you from? I'm from Utah. I'm kind of like in the middle-ish of Utah. I guess more north side. Recon, are you still EDC the 43X? How are the shield mags treating you? Yes, I still conceal the 43X MOS, the same build that you've seen in my very latest 43X MOS video. I can't think if I've changed anything from there. I don't think I have. And the shield mags have done great for me. I've been training with them, using them, and they run flawlessly since I fixed the screw issue. So yeah, they've been great. Yep. But I know that's not everybody's experience. You just have to shoot a lot of rounds through it to make sure you're comfortable carrying them. William, hi, I'm from Brazil. I subscribed to your channel today. Very nice videos. Wow, that's so crazy. So I'm making it out to Brazil. Cool, man. Yeah, thanks for being here. Joseph, eager to see more content. Your builds are inspiring. My Glock 19 and 43X are getting some of your recommended upgrades. Keep up the great work. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Joseph. That's awesome. I can't believe that like people are gaining inspiration from the things that I'm building. I love it. I think it's so fun and so cool. So I'm stoked. I love, like, when I put out a video, I shoot the gun a lot and I try to use the parts that I have on the gun as much as possible so I can get like a really good understanding of whether or not I like it. And I love the guns that I build. I think they're awesome. So I think you'll like them too. Dean, what's your favorite gun you've ever shot? So my buddy, I don't know if it's my favorite. No, I think one of the most fun guns I've shot was my buddy Cody's. Cody, if you're here, shout out. He has a 50 cal, and he just was just like, yeah, go for it, man. And the first time I ever shot it, I did it standing up because I watched him do it, and I was like, that didn't look too hard. And I would consider myself like a very strong person. So I didn't know how much recoil it was going to hit me with, and so I just braced myself and pulled the trigger 5 times. And that's the video you can find on my Instagram. That was me shooting the 50 cal for the first time, and I did it standing up. It was really fun. So kind of crazy. I really just love ARs. Huge fan of those. Yeah, suppressed handguns, I feel like are really fun to shoot. So after I bought the Omega 9K, I just have been running all of my handguns suppressed. I mean, not really. Like when I train, I usually take the can off. But that's really fun. Pixel Face, are you administrative results unmasked? No, I wish. That guy is so funny. And he gets to hang out with Grantham, so that's my dream. Jose, Mike, sounds like you're using a laptop mic. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because the last time I was using a mic on top of my camera, and it sounded horrible. So I decided that I needed to invest in this little thing that connects to this so I can run it through the live. And I'm hoping that this sounds better. If it sounds worse, then let me know so I can fix it. Tyler Brown, keep the videos going, bro. I'm working on it. I have a lot of stuff that I'm working on right now, especially with like the other businesses that I do. and own. So it's just been kind of crazy, but I do have 2 more builds coming out soon, both ARs. And then I'm working on a shotgun build, which I'm so stoked for. So you guys definitely need to stay tuned for that because the shotgun's going to be sweet. I was actually this all just happened like this last week, but I reached out to Vancomp, sorry, and they're going to totally hook me up with a shotgun. So it was one that I wanted. I was like trying to figure out how I could get it, and it all just worked out. So they're hooking me up with a shotgun that I can build out. And they also invited me to a shotgun training course, which I'm all about training. And so I figured out how to get down there. It's in Las Vegas. And so I'm going to do a 2-day training course with like one of the best shotgun instructors out there. And I'm super excited for that. So I'm going to learn how to be really effective with shotgun, which I love. And I get to learn from people who are way better than me. I know like pretty much nothing about shotguns. I've shot them before. I'm very familiar with firearms, obviously, but shotguns, I don't know a lot about. So I'm really excited to be trained on them and become effective with it. So it's going to be really cool. That should be happening in the next couple months. So I'm reading these. Just got recommended your Glock 19 video 20 minutes ago, and now you're live. I'm looking at picking up the 19X tomorrow. Right on, Brett. So that was Brett who just commented that. Yeah, I'm so stoked. I love that my videos are finally getting pushed out to people. I don't know how it's happening. I'm really glad that it is, though. And hopefully we can keep that momentum up. I'm going to try and do lives more. If this audio sounds good and if the video looks good, I'm going to try and make these pretty consistent thing. And then if you miss them, I think I'm just going to put them on my Patreon. And if you want to watch them, then that's awesome. So, yeah. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, though. So I know there is one on my Patreon. The 19X is a great gun. I would go with the 45 if I were you. But that's just me. I don't really care for like the added features that they put in the 19X. I think the 45 does all of them, and it's better. That's just my opinion. I love my 45. But if you only have the option of 19X, I think they're great. Albert, hey man, I picked up a 43X and wanted to know what you would recommend for concealed carry in more of a minimal sense. Yeah. So like minimal as in parts or minimal as in like holster carry setup? I'll just answer parts wise. So I think the first thing you should do is upgrade your iron sights. If you're not going to run a red dot, I think iron sights are very important, and you should have at least like tritium night sights so you can see. And then I also think that if it's an MOS, make sure you put on a flashlight. I think it's important to run a flashlight so you can identify targets at night, and because you don't want to shoot the wrong person. Yeah. And then I usually throw on a Talon grip, and you can go with whichever one you want, the rough one or the rubberized texture, which I like because when I'm concealing something, I don't want sandpaper rubbing against my skin or tearing my clothes. And those are really the biggest things. Mag capacity, though, is important. So I think the last thing you should do if you're going to and have the money would be to upgrade to the shield mags and then shoot them a lot with range ammo to make sure that they run properly in your gun. Those are the biggest things, though, that I would upgrade right away. There's one other thing. That's so hard. I know. So there's one more thing. The slide release button. I really like the one that I have from, I need to remember the name. It's on my kit. Go to my kit. But the slide release button is the last thing I would upgrade. That's like not super important, but it's inexpensive enough to where it just kind of makes sense to do it. And then if you're not going to carry a spare mag and just do like a single carry option, then just go with like a T-Rex Arms holster because they're really inexpensive. But Black Arch, honestly, I think makes a great one if you're going to do just the handgun setup instead of like an extra mag. I like their side carry as well for the mags and stuff, but it's up to you. But that would be really minimal in my opinion. Like a red dot, a magwell, and like a threaded barrel, those aren't really important things. Also, like the trigger, honestly, is not that important. And like really don't change out any of the internals of the gun until you're really familiar with it and how it fires. That's just how I feel. Michael, back at it on the live again. Get it, bro. Let me know if you ever make it down to Texas. And if you want to train with some LE guys. Yeah, that's so sick. I would love to. That sounds amazing. I've got a buddy, and I've actually got 2 friends in Texas. Send me a DM of where you're at. I think that'd be really cool. Maybe I'll visit them one day and try to make it out to you. That'd be fun. I don't know how to travel with my guns though, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. Alex, you're attending SHOT Show 2023 this year. If so, what are you looking forward to this year? Sorry, I've been asked about SHOT a lot, and I am just realizing that I really should be going. I haven't signed up yet. I think I should. I think I will. But I heard it's like coming up really soon. So I need to stop saying I'm going to figure that out. What am I looking forward to this year? There's a lot of technology coming out actually with firearms that I'm really excited for. Especially with a company called X2. They are guys that I work with pretty frequently, and their stuff is really good. Ryan, audio sounds good to me. Heck yeah, sweet. Okay, that's good. Slaying fish, it sounds bad, like it's muffled. Oh, that's good to know. I'm getting mixed reviews here. Let me see. Test. Tell me if this starts to sound better or worse. Better? Because I'm not really sure how to fix it if it sounds worse. Test 1, 2, 3. Test. Check. Check. Check 1, 2, 3. Does this sound better? Tell me if this sounds better. If it doesn't, then I'll try something else. I think I might need it. It was flashing yellow at me. Yeah, just let me know if that sounds better or worse. I'm hoping that it sounds a little bit better. Let's see here. I don't know, man. The audio could be a bit better even for a stream. It does sound like a laptop mic. Shoot. Okay, well, I'll troubleshoot this later. I'm hoping that. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Maybe. Well, yeah, I see what you mean. It definitely sounds better than the on-camera mic that I was using the last time. So I'm going to figure it out. I'll hopefully make it sound a little bit better, but this is the best I can get it right now. Let's see what we got here. Sounds like the new bike isn't set as a streaming audio source. Okay, yeah, I probably need to figure that out. Just working out the bugs. At least I got the box, the autofocus box off my face. Well, that was the struggle of the last one. Okay, Russell, were you ever in the military? No, I was not in the military. I have never served in any capacity. I'm a civilian. I'm just like, I would consider myself really patriotic, and I feel a really strong desire to like be heavily involved in this and understand it and know how these things work. I think they're important. I think training is important. I think making sure that we can defend the nation is important, even if you're not military. I don't think other people care if you're prepared or not. So I think preparedness is important. I'm not a fanatic, and I'm also not like expecting the worst to happen in the world. I just think it's important. Like, why wouldn't you want to know how to do a lot of these things and use these resources and tools? I think they're important. Lords noun. Here's some food. Here's some food for the algorithm. Some food for the algorithm. Yeah, we're feeding it. Briarwood, still have your 365? No, I actually sold my 365 a long time ago. When I bought my Glock 43X MOS, I sold it to buy the Glock. And I did that because I didn't think I was ever going to use my 365 again especially after I built out the Glock. That's why I never bought it again, because I was just thinking like, I really like my Glock. I'm probably not going to go back to SIG. These days, looking at the things that you can do to 365 XL, and especially with the XL macro, I might get back into SIG. We'll see. I need to shoot their guns more to figure out if I actually do like them, or if it's like, I don't know, something I might not care for if I have my Glocks. Chris says the mic doesn't sound that bad. So now we're 50-50. Sound either too suppressed by your audio interface or like you're in an echoey room. It could be the echoey room. Yeah, it's not treated room. So this is supposed to help with that. But if it's not helping, then tell me if this sounds better. I just turned off one of the things. If it sounds better, let me know. You can hear a slight echo. Okay, that's good enough. Bronco, it's not bad. Chris, it's a little off, but nothing crazy. Joseph, a little better, a bit better. Nordic shooting thoughts on the Holosun 508T. I don't know. Let me look it up really quick. Holosun 508T. I've probably seen it before, but I don't remember what it looks like. So let me see. Oh, interesting. So it looks a lot like the 507K, only it has like the sun. What is that called? Their logos are everywhere. That's what drives me crazy about Holosun, is they plaster it as many times as they can everywhere. If it's anything like the 507K, I've never used it before. If it's anything like the 507K, I'm sure it's great. Especially if it came out after the 507K, I'm sure it's great. Holosun really, like, they make solid products for where they come from, and I don't think they're bad at all. Except for, I mean, if you're comparing it to something that's generally better because it's made in America, then it's a different comparison. But by themselves compared to each other, I think they're awesome. I mean, I run one on my 43X MOS. I run the 507K, and I really like it. Haven't had any issues with it yet. Brady, I have you on my TV and my phone. Both sound good to me. Thank you. Sweet. Bronco, my brother and I found your channel shortly after Christmas. We love the vibe of your content. Really fresh. Keep the quality coming. Thank you, man, so much. I appreciate the support. The support means everything. I mean, like, I don't really know. If people aren't watching, I'm just be shooting guns for fun, which is great, but it's a lot more fun to like enjoy a community. Shugs, can we see the Mark 18 build? Yeah, I'll show it to you. So I have it here actually. It's not done yet. I'm still working on a couple things, trying to figure out what I like and don't like, but this is it so far. And I mean, it's a great build so far, to be honest. The quad rail, I didn't know if I was going to love it, but I absolutely love it. The Rise EOTech, I love it. The Silencer Co. lower has been really good so far, actually. I was pretty surprised with how awesome it is. And then the Law Tactical folder is kind of a cool little feature that I've enjoyed. This video is going to come out pretty soon. I just need to shoot the intro and make sure that I'm going over all of the things that I actually really do love and hate about it. So far, there's really nothing that I like absolutely hate about it. I think it's all really good because the idea behind this build was to build something that I would have made when I first started if I knew what I knew now. And that was really like the goal behind this gun, was to build something that was like awesome and that would last a long time. And I like to have weapons that make sense. I don't like to have like two of the same thing. So I wanted a shorter AR, and there's a lot going on with pistol braces right now that's making me kind of nervous about this build, but we'll figure it out, and all of its infringements and all of its crap. So Reggie Akins, what's another good Glock? I already have the 43X. Do you have the Glock 45? Because that's my second favorite gun. I would say it's in line or equal to my favorite handgun. This thing is freaking incredible. Let's see if I can get it to focus. I love it. This is the best. The Glock 45 is incredible. It feels super good in your hand, especially if you have big hands, it'll accommodate that. If you have small hands, it still feels really good. I have like medium sized hands, but shooting this gun is very comfortable. I feel like anyone could. If the 43X is at all uncomfortable, the 45 will feel very comfortable to you. So huge fan of the 45. Kalashnikov Ronin, do you think that Shellback is a good company, if I may ask for a plate carrier? I also did your Glock 43, and it's so fine, my man. Or man, thank you. Do you think that Shellback is a good company? Shellback. I've never heard of them. I know there's a lot of companies out there making like probably good plates. I don't know. I just kind of go with the ones that I've either researched really well, or the ones that are really well established and know what they're talking about and have a lot of tests behind their products. I think that's important. You want one that has been tested like crazy, because it's more likely that your gear is going to work if they're creating products that are heavily tested. So if you can't find any reviews on them of maybe people shooting them, or people, or like the company actually showing that the product works really well, I don't know, maybe go with a different route. Yeah. I do have a plate carrier video where I talk a lot about plates and NIJ ratings. Not me in particular. My buddy came out and talked about everything, super knowledgeable guy named Kurt. So I highly recommend you guys watch the plate carrier setup video, because that one goes in depth on plates. Let's see here. I'm glad you got the Glock 43X though. I think that's sweet. Quan, what do you think about P80 builds? I wanted to make one. I actually really like the frame and the look of them. I like their grip angle. I actually like them a lot. I think they're really cool. I've never built one out, but I've heard they're really cool, and I think they're really cool. I think I'd like to build one day. Para Redox. I have a 507C on my Glock 19 MOS and Glock 17, and it's great. Nordic shooting. 507C on my Glock 19. Yeah, nice. I've heard the 507C is a great optic, and I've heard they're really good, so that's sweet. Pighead, thoughts on P80 builds? Oh, did I read that already? No, Quan just asked that, so I just answered that. The Real Colton, sorry, jeez. The Real Colton. Excellent work on your channel, bro. Found your videos about a week ago and subscribed instantly. The hard work going into production and quality information shows 100%. Absolutely hooked for more. I love that. I'm so stoked to make more videos. I'm excited about the builds that I'm working on right now, especially with a lot of the companies that have reached out and I've reached out to, so we can create a lot more content. I'm excited for it. It's going to be sweet. Give me 1 second here. Okay. I'm just sending a quick text over to a couple of my buddies. Okay, how do I bring the comments back up here? Live chat. There we go. Recommendations. Oh, this is Richard. Recommendations for Glock 43X magwells. I want something slim and doesn't add a wider profile. Yeah. So, the Katana actually is pretty slim in comparison to a lot of ones that I've seen. SLR, I actually recently just saw one from SLR, and I really like the look of it. So that's one to look into. I would say SLR and Empire Katana are the ones that I would look into. I think those are good. B. Baker, thoughts on the Holosun EPS carry? I've looked into these. I don't know a lot about them yet. I've never shot one. I think they are working on something cool. I think they're heading in the right direction. I think they're cool. But I don't have one, and I haven't shot one yet. If you were comparing them between the 507K and maybe the EPS carry and like which one you should get, I would maybe go with the EPS carry, because from what I've heard, they're great optics. So that's something to look into. The 507K is like really tried and tested though. A lot of people have them. A lot of people know what they're capable of and know their fails. So that's something to think about. If you want to be like kind of a test dummy because it's a new one, then that's something to look into. Kurt Weaver. Audio isn't too bad, man. Just discovered this channel and I appreciate the quality of the content you're putting out. Can definitely tell that you put all the effort into it and the experience with M&Ps. Thank you, Kurt. I really appreciate that. I do put in a lot of effort. I try to make these videos as good as possible. I'd love to see this grow. And thanks for your question. Experience with M&Ps. So not a lot of experience with M&Ps. I've seen a lot of really cool M&P builds though. So I have thought about building one out. That'll probably be in the future because it's not like a gun that I really carry or have looked into a lot. But the ones that I've shot are like extremely comfortable. So I totally get the hype behind them. I understand why people like them so much. They're reliable. They're really comfortable to shoot. I don't know if I like love their triggers or their like fire control group mechanisms and stuff like that, but I think they're honestly a solid option. Like beginner gun, you either go with an M&P or you're going with a Glock. Usually, I mean, those are like the two things that a lot of people recommend. And then everyone's like, well, if you want to spend a little bit more, you can get a SIG. But those, I mean, I think they're great. So one day I think I will build one out because they've got some really cool options, but we'll see. Baker is saying that the audio does have a bit of an echo. Yeah, something I'm going to have to fix. I'm still trying to work out the bugs, so I will fix that. Dominique, would you recommend a quad rail or an M-LOK rail? Does it even matter? Yes, it does matter. It just depends. So I don't think I would do a quad rail on anything over a 10.5 inch. I mean, like maybe, well, that's not true. If I was doing a 16-inch build, I'm definitely going M-LOK. There's just too much. It's too heavy. There's way too much metal. If I was doing like maybe up to a 14.5, which is still a lot for me, maybe like 11.5 would be the most most barrel length I would do in quad rail on. Anything else, I'd probably go with the M-LOK. And I think that just has to do with weight. I really love quad rails. Obviously, the attachments are different, so you have to make sure that all of the parts you're going to add are quad rail compatible. So that's something to think about. They're also just really chunky, but I really love them. So far on this 10.5 inch, it's been like a dream. I've really enjoyed them. Midwest Industries makes some of my favorite handguards. I just think they're awesome. Like all the ones that I've used from them are so comfortable. They're really aesthetic. They're well made. And so far, this one is like no exception. They're fantastic. So also like their anti-walk built into like that goes over the upper receiver. I love that. There's just a lot of features that I appreciate that Midwest Industries puts in. So yes, quad rail on short barreled guns, M-LOK on longer guns. I don't know if that's like a standard. That's just what I like. Quan, thanks for the insight. And since I'm a broke college student, I'm planning to do it with a P80 build for my first pistol. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. You might end up spending around the same amount if you're like going to build it out, but you're probably going to save a lot up front. So if that's important to you, then that's perfect. All this films. This is my boy Dallin. Samuel is one hot man. You make me blush, Dallin. Miss you, dude. Hey, Dallin, tell me how oh yeah, okay. So he's saying that the audio sounds like it's coming from my camera too. Shoot. I was gonna ask you about the audio. I'm still trying to figure it out, man. I bought the thing that's supposed to make it sound better, but I don't know how to use it apparently. I'm gonna check the audio again to make sure. Let's see. Test. Oh, I might have messed that up this whole time. There we go, dude. Tell me if this sounds better. Because I totally turned off that one feature that like makes it actually work. No? Let me know. Nothing changes. Shoot. Maybe it's because it's plugged through a cloud lifter. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try one thing really quick. Let's see if this sounds any better. Looks like I'm not getting anything right now. Tell me if this sounds any better. Better or worse, Alan? Let me know. "100% coming from your camera." All right, well, that's good enough. Switching it back. Sorry, give me a second. I have all this set up. I mean, this would be the difference. This is like coming straight from my camera, and then when I plug it in, I'm hoping that this changes what it sounds like. Did you guys notice a change? Does it sound different? I don't know, it should. If it's working properly, then it should. But if it's not, then it's something I'm gonna have to figure out. Okay, that's good to know. Shoot. All right. Well, sorry guys. I'm gonna continue to try to figure that out. I guess this audio live stream is not working. I wonder if it's something in the back here I'm supposed to touch. Air? If I click air, does it do anything? There's always some button that I'm missing. Sounds the same. No, okay, good to know. All right, guys, sorry. I'll stop messing with it. I will go back to the questions. Okay, Kalishnikov, Ronan, not gonna lie, man. I think to do a little variety, you should do an AK, preferably the 100 series, because they're more modern and bringing them into the modern world. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I do have an AK that is going to come to the channel at some point. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's going to be a really cool build, and I'm excited for it. B. Baker, also, have you seen the Radian Afterburner comp? Yeah, I have seen that. I don't know if I really have an opinion on them. I've never shot them before. What I've seen is that they shoot really flat, and I think they're great. Like, if you live in California and all that, I have a threaded barrel, then I think that's a great option for you. So I think they're really cool. Juan Reed, Luis Hernandez, best outdoor shooting range in Utah. I would say it is Soldier Pass. There is a range where there's dugouts. There's like 6 of them or something like that. And the ranges are pre-measured, I think 25, 50, and then out to like, it could be 500 or 600 yards. So those are definitely the best one. I think it's called Soldier Pass shooting range. Really awesome. It's out like on the West Mountain. Huge fan of it. On the other side of the lake. B. Baker, yeah, definitely concerned with the newness of EPS. Seems like Holosun is walking the same track as Streamlight did years ago to be comparable to Surefire. Yeah, sometimes companies do that. They just need like a cash flow item, something that's going to mitigate the cost for their higher priced items. So they create smaller ones that sell more, that are less expensive. So yeah, that could be the case. I hope it's not. I think Holosun is a big enough company to where they can just create good stuff, and they should, which they do. They do create good stuff. I think they should just keep creating good stuff. Richard, nice, apparently, nice, appreciate it, man. Sorry. Yay, I saw the Catan off your vid, but I see Empire's making a version 3 design, and I prefer the older look. I'll do the SLR one. Yeah, good choice. I didn't know that Empire was making it wider. I don't know if he is or not. I think that it's around the same size, but I really like SLR. I run the SLR Magwell on my 45 and I absolutely love it. Huge fan. So I think at some point I even would try the SLR on my build. So I don't think it's a bad choice at all. Sling Fish, I'm about to pick up the M&P 2.0. I live in California, so I got to find off the roster guns from cops, but I really want the 43X. Stupid Cali loss. Yeah, stupid Cali loss. I'm sorry, man. That's super frustrating that you have to go based off of a list. I was seeing some stuff to where the list was maybe going to be like banned at one point, like there wouldn't be a list anymore, but I don't know. I'm sorry you live in California. It's tough. Nordic, really like your Glock 19 build, so I just filled out an application for a license to get the Glock 19 to build one out for myself. Gen 5 MOS, Tech PMM, 6 suppressor, Surefire X300U, Holosun 508T, X2 with a Timney trigger. Dang. Yeah, that sounds like a really cool build. Send me a DM when you get it all put together. I want to see it. Thanks, Fallon, for all the help there, buddy. Dominic, do you conceal carry a suppressor on the 43X, or is that just for drip on the video? Yeah, definitely just for drip. I would never carry a suppressor in my pants. I definitely carry it just like this. So this is my concealed carry setup. 15 round, 20 round, and this is exactly how I carry it. I carry it all day to day just like this. If I do carry a suppressor, it's going to be with the TRX Arms Ragnarok, and it is always on my hip. And this is like my range training setup. So if I'm in like full kit, then I will throw that on my hip and I'll train suppress, and I have the other holster if I take off the suppressor. Okay. Gabriel, bro, you look like iDubbbz. I've heard that. Someone else was telling me that I look like iDubbbz, and I looked him up, and I can't remember what he looks like, but maybe he does look like me. That's funny. Or I look like him. Jonathan, yo, M8, I have a question for you. Okay. I'm sure his question's coming down. Sounds the same. Thank you, everyone. Can you change the output for sound? I don't know. Oh, let me try this. Maybe this is it. That's a mute button. Edit. Let me see. Hold on, I'm going to go into my sound settings really quick. I wonder if I can figure this out. If I can't figure it out quickly, then I won't do it. Scarlet. Okay, I might have just figured it out. Let's see. Test 1, 2, 3. Let me know if this changes anything. I think it might have just killed my audio altogether. Test 1, 2, 3. Let me know if this is changing the audio. I'm hoping that it sounds much better now. I just changed it over to the Scarlett, which I believe is this microphone. Nope. Dang it. Yeah, Down, I'd love to do a private live and figure this out with you, man. Because I have no idea. Tell me super quick if this is anything. If it's not, then it is what it is. But this is the USB audio. I just switched it over to that. Keep it. Nope. Okay. Yep. Okay, that was the last thing I was going to try. Back to the questions. Hold on. Test 1, 2, 3. Output. Maybe this is the last thing I'm going to try because I switched the output to the Scarlett as well. I didn't know you're supposed to change both of them. So let me know if that sounds better. If it doesn't, then it's whatever. Hopefully it sounds like something though. Whisper into your camera. Okay. Hear me, Talon? Can you hear me? Anybody there? Hello? Yep. Oh, yep, as in you can hear me, as in it's coming out of the wrong thing. Yeah, definitely coming from the camera. Well, that's something to figure out, I suppose. Shoot. Hold on, I'm just figuring out one more thing. Dang, I really want to figure this out, but I guess I'm going to have to figure it out next time. Yeah, I'll text you, dude, when I finish this and we can figure it out. Cause yeah, I don't know. No, there's not a little thing for on the actual YouTube live. It's just so weird though, because it's like showing that all the audio is coming through and everything like that, but I don't know, maybe there's a button I can press. Okay, sorry guys. I will go back to up here. And I'm sorry the audio didn't work. I was hoping it would. Jonathan just received my Johnny Glocks Evolution X drop-in combat trigger system, and I really need some help adjusting the pre-travel. Ooh, I have never adjusted the pre-travel. I left it the way that Johnny had set it. Is the issue that it is too sticky, or is it too close to the edge of the trigger housing? Let me know. I did have one issue with that, where like it wouldn't reset the trigger, and then I just sent it back to Johnny, and he fixed it for me and sent it right back. So if it's close to that, then you might just want to send it back if it's like an issue. But if you're just trying to adjust it because you want it to be more specific to you, I don't know how to do that. So I'd look up a video. Are you using OBS? No, I'm not using OBS. Maybe that's what I need to download. I don't know what OBS is. So that's probably what the problem is. And the next time after this live, I will have OBS downloaded and I'll figure out how to do it. Mason, Johnny Glock has videos about that on his channel. Yes, he does. So if you go to his channel, he will teach you how to do it his way, which is what I highly recommend. Don't look at other people. Watch Johnny. He is way better. I can try to find one. Okay, so they're helping each other out. That's perfect. Your boy Art. Yo, I really love your 43X build, and I'm gonna copy about 60% of it of your setup. It's just too clean. I love that. I love it. I don't care if you copy it. I want you to. I think it's great. And it's a great gun. Like, if you like the way that this looks, I love the way that it shoots. So if it works for you, then that's freaking awesome. Mason, yes, I'm using the same one. He talks about it in a video showing off the trigger. There is a screw on the trigger. Also, Johnny is a great guy. So if you shoot an email, call him, then he'll reply super quick and help you out. Yeah, that's true, Mason. He will. Thanks for helping out. Operator Ace, were you ever prior service? No, I never joined the military. I'm not in the military at all. I have never served in any capacity, law enforcement, military, nothing. I'm just a civilian who has a great appreciation for understanding firearms in general. I think they're really important. I did talk about this a little bit before, but I just think it's really important to know how to use these tools because they were created for a specific purpose to defend the nation, also for personal purposes, which I also think are important. So that's why I push training so much at the end of my videos. I don't think that you have to be military to know how to use these. I think everyone should know how to use them. And I think everyone should train really hard to be as effective as someone in the military. So that's just how I feel though. Even if you never use it in the real world, which likely none of you will, myself included, I hope I never have to. That's the biggest thing. Is like I am training to be prepared, but I really hope that I never have to use the skills. If anything, it's just really fun to know how to do it. But it'll be effective if I do have to use it. Slaying fish. Definitely better that you're close to it. Nah, shoot. Yeah, sorry guys. I'll figure out the audio. For now, it's just crap again. Sorry. Dominique, any thoughts on the new SIG P320? I've got Glocks and was thinking about getting into the SIG world. Yeah, I've thought about getting into the SIG world as well. I've shot the P320s. I do like them. I think they're chunky, but I think they're really comfortable. I think they shoot really smoothly, and I don't think you can go wrong. There's a lot of things that I like about SIG. There's a lot of things that I really don't like about SIG. So yeah, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, it's like the same thing with Glock. There's pros and cons. There's no perfect gun. But I think Glock has the modularity component behind it. So I can kind of like make it into the perfect gun for me, which is why I think I like them so much. No, it sounds like you're in an empty room. Yeah. Well, I am in an empty room. Hasn't changed. Whispering the camera. Okay. Definitely coming from the camera. Yeah. My boy Dallin. So my friend Dallin here, he's the one who helped me out with the audio. he's a guy who is a fantastic wedding filmmaker. We shoot weddings together all the time, and he comes and trains with me when I ask him to, because he's a good old pal. Love him. Brady Bronson. Took me a couple years to save up for, but finally just got some dual tubes. Thinking about going that route eventually. But I finally just got some dual tubes. Wow, why can I not think of what dual tubes are? They sound great and awesome. I just literally, for some reason, cannot remember what that means or what that is. Dual tubes. Just describe to me what that is. Oh, bro, yeah, of course, night vision. I am so jealous of you. That's awesome. Yeah, I knew. I like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I've heard that a million times, but I was like, wow, it's been a long day. I filmed a wedding today, so it's just been a long day. But that is so sick. I definitely want to build out some night vision. I think I'm gonna do that at some point, either this or next year. So I'm stoked for you. Way to save up. Yeah, that's awesome. What brand did you get? Curious. Titan. Love the videos. I'm looking into getting a similar 43X build. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I hope you do. Also, Titan, where do you recommend to get training in Utah? That's a really good question. So I know that there are like, so Ready Gunner, I know offers training. They also offer like concealed carry classes. I think a lot of like the big gun shops do offer some type of training, or they know where to go for training. I don't particularly know any like small people or like small business owners that like offer training here. I know that they exist. I just don't know exactly who they are. I know people in Idaho and Las Vegas now, or not Las Vegas, but in Vegas now, or Nevada. I'll look into that. Send me a DM, because most of the training that I get to do, I'm lucky. I just have friends who are military. They're either military, law enforcement. Oh no. Okay, hold on, guys. Sorry. Oh, this is just another thing I'm gonna have to figure out if I do lives. All right, we should be back. My bad. My bad, my bad. I definitely should have checked the battery before I started this. Silly me. Okay, training in Utah. Yes. So I got lucky. I get to train with both military and law enforcement. My older brother is really just a great shooter. He's taught me a lot of what I know, and he's been training me for like as long as I've been shooting guns. So he's just a really effective shooter. And then I kind of just seek out training by whoever is better than me, which is like generally everyone. I mean, not everyone, but there are a lot of people who are better than me, and I just look for opportunities to learn. Paid courses, though, I don't know. I haven't really taken a ton of them. I just go out and shoot with people who are better than me who have taken courses. So they kind of just transfer down the knowledge from what they learned. I know it's like past knowledge might not be as good or effective, but it's worked really well for me. And I feel like I train well and train hard and am becoming more effective. But I do recommend learning from people who are way better. Okay, Mason, looking into getting The Omega 9K for my 43X build, that's identical to yours. Saw your vid and immediately built it the same. How long did it take you to get yours? And what path did you take? Looking at getting the Omega 9K. Just making sure you're talking about getting the suppressor, right? Because if that's what you're talking about, I mean, it took me a while to build up the gun, but it's worth it. If you're talking about the suppressor, just go and talk to my buddy Joseph at Rocky Mountain Rifle if you live in Utah. If you live outside of Utah, it might not make as much sense to go to him because he's local for me. You can go to pretty much any larger gun shop and you just go to their, if they have a kiosk, a silencer shop kiosk is the way to go, because you can do your fingerprints and you can send in pretty much all the information you need to from the kiosk, which is like the easiest way. You want everything to be digital. You don't want to send paper anymore. If you send paper, it's going to take over a year. Sometimes, yeah, it just takes a long time if you send in paper to the ATF. So don't do that. Use their e-forms, even though they are still super bad at getting through that. They're just slow. That's just the way it is. So unfortunately, they, I keep hearing things like, no, they're hiring more people so they can process papers and e-forms faster. I don't believe it. I just think they're slow no matter what. So it took me, I have a couple cans. The Omega 9K took as long as it should have. It was a little over 100 days. Generally, I mean, they claim to take 90 days, but mine took over that. So it's really not that hard to get suppressors anymore. You just go to a kiosk and do all the things that you're supposed to, and person at the gun shop can walk you through everything. If you're going to go to the ATF or anything, I recommend doing it for suppressors. Anything else, hang back for a little, because you don't want to be regulated by the ATF as much as possible. So that's my opinion. But get suppressors because they are really important and cool. Bronco Bacon. Yeah, bacon. Have you heard of the SIG P320 accidental discharge problems? Yeah. I think there's a class action lawsuit even after SIG's upgrade offering. This is what I absolutely hate about SIG. This is what happened when I didn't have any misfires. This is what happened when I bought my 365 XL. The slide wouldn't lock back. Like, I would just have little issues. If you buy a SIG when it first comes out, I'm convinced that they test their products on their customer base. So if you buy a new SIG, it's probably just going to have problems. And that's what I hate about them. They wait for you to buy it, and then they have all the problems. Everyone submits their issues, and then they fix it with the Gen 2 model. But they should just fix it with the Gen 1 model and do more testing before they release products. Like, that's what anyone else does. So that's why I hate SIG. That's one of the biggest reasons why I hate SIG and never buy any of their products when they first come out. And I realized that from the very beginning when I bought my very first gun, which was the P365 XL. So that's something to think about. Yeah, crazy though. I can't believe that they would release a gun that would misfire. That's just wild. Augie, yo, what up, dude? Saka, super long name. Hey man, hey dude, how you doing? Love your videos. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm sorry I can't say your name. I have to put on an extra pair of glasses to pronounce that correctly. Augie93. What got you into guns? I'm only in my second full year of gun ownership. Awesome. Yeah. So what got me into them? Short answer is I wanted to be prepared, and I didn't want to rely on other people to save me or protect me. It bothered. I like being self-sufficient. It bothered me that if I didn't carry a gun, I wouldn't be self-sufficient technically, because I'm not really capable of fending off myself, especially if the other person overpowers me with a weapon. And the unfortunate truth of the world is that bad people have guns, and that's not going to change no matter what law they put in place, no matter what, anything, nothing. Nothing's going to change the fact that bad people with evil intentions are going to have guns. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I want to be self-sufficient and I want to be able to protect myself and my family. And unfortunately, they have guns, so I have to learn how to be effective with them as well to equalize the power. Hopefully, I never have to be in that situation. But in my mentality, I'm thinking I would rather have the skills, know how to use them, and have one on me rather than not have one and be a sitting duck, essentially. That thought process essentially got me into wanting to carry a gun. I think that's really similar for a lot of people. Besides that, my older brother in law enforcement right now has always been into them, and he's just someone I actually look up to. I think he's a really cool guy. So he had always kind of persuaded me in that direction, was like, you should learn how to use these. They're important. And I always agreed with him. I was never like a gun person though. And growing up, we really didn't shoot that often. My family didn't really own guns. We didn't really have any. So it was really within the last like 3, maybe 4 years, maybe less than that, that I got into it. And when I did, I just kind of went really deep. So when I started building out guns, I was like, dang, this is actually really fun. And while I was learning how to use them, it just became more fun. So, and then building them out and like having the channel has been really fun for me. So that it all kind of compiled. I just started as like me learning about it and then me posting what I learned about it. And then that kind of like snowballed into what it is today, where I actually like really enjoy it. And I love having the skills that I do now. So yeah, that's pretty much what got me into it. Besides the fact that like, and also I guess the other side of it, like more of the political side would be our founding fathers obviously fought and died for the nation. I also have always respected people in the military. One of my best friends growing up, his dad was in the military. I always really looked up to him, and I still do. I think he's an awesome guy. And I just respected people who were willing to put their lives on the line and know how to use these things to defend a nation that I love and appreciate. I think that this nation gives people freedom. I think that we have potential here. I think we're able to do a lot, pretty much anything we want here, which is really cool, and it's protected. So, I don't know, all of that combined makes me think that they're important. But congratulations on being in your second full year of gun ownership. I hope that you're training often, and I hope that you are spending money on ammo to take to the range to become more effective with your firearm. I think it's really important to do that. So congratulations. I'm so glad that there are other people willing to carry and to own firearms and to learn about them. It's really important. It's an important community. So thank you for being a part of it. Bronco, Brady DT and V's from La Cinta Arms, making my helmet very close to Grantham's. Hey, you can't go wrong. That guy knows. I love Grantham so much. If there was anything that inspired my videos more, there's nothing. There's nothing that inspired my videos more than Grantham. My like goal one day is to meet that guy. He is so funny and so cool. I just think he's awesome. So good for you. I would do the same. Augie, it happens to the best of us. Sure does. Dominique, never gonna work out the kinks if you don't try. Love your content, man, and your quality is always amazing. And you get the pass on this one. You get a pass on this one. Thank you. Yeah, I was really hoping that this would all just work. Of course, one step at a time. Appreciate the pass. I'm gonna get this thing down, and it's all gonna sound and look really good. Kumo, I found your channel literally the other day, and you're already one of my favorite gun tubers. No way. Thank you for the high quality content. Absolutely, man. I am so happy to make it. I think it's super awesome that people are finding the channel. I'm stoked that people are finding the channel. It's super cool. So yeah, I'm stoked. Thank you for being here. Kevin Mulaney, 19 or 43x for EDC. I can't decide. I don't think you can go wrong. I mean, I carry the 43x because it's a lot more comfortable to me than the 19. And the reason why that is because I always carry a light, and I'm not going to carry the TLR7A or the one that goes on the Glock 19. I'm going to carry the X300. So I have to have a holster compatible with the X300, which is huge. So that's really where the uncomfortability factor comes in for me. I run the X300 on all of my Glock builds, and I've bought holsters that are compatible with that. So if I had to choose one, I'm going to go with the 43X MOS because I can carry the TLR7 sub, which I think is a lot more comfortable because it's smaller. It's also slimmer by like, I don't know, a lot. It's just smaller and slimmer. So that's something to think about. If you're carrying a smaller light or no light, then I think the 19 is not a bad option at all. In fact, it's only a little bit thicker than the 43X, plus it carries 15 rounds in their OEM mags. So it just depends on the way you plan to carry it. The way that I carry mine, 43X MOS all day, because it's slimmer than how I carry my other one. So. But I really like the 19. I don't think you can go wrong. It just depends on how you carry it. I will also carry the my 45 with the X300. Just depends on the day, my style, what clothes I'm wearing. So, yeah, it just depends. I think every SIG Spear LT owner agrees with you on your SIG opinion. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. I'd love to hear a poll on that. Christian Rivera, buy the FCU, don't buy the complete SIG pistols. Yeah, actually, I think that's a really good point, especially because SIG serializes their fire control groups. So you don't have to, you can like basically build it out from there. You can buy whatever frame you want, stuff like that. Christian, I love SIG optics though. Yeah, I think SIG optics are all right. They're obviously a huge brand who makes great stuff. So I think there are a lot of other optics on the market though for similar prices. So I'm not saying that they're better or worse. I'm just saying I think there are other options to look at and consider. I just like other stuff. Whenever I see SIG stuff, I tend to think like maybe they didn't look at all the options. And that's just like a petty, maybe I shouldn't have said that. They make great stuff. I just like when I see a SIG thing, I just wonder, I wonder why they didn't go with Aimpoint or like EOTech or like save up a little bit more and got like an EOTech. Not that EOTech's the best, they are among the best. But that's just what I think. So when I see SIG stuff, that's what I think. 323 Pen, Kumo, he does a great job. I'm surprised he doesn't have as much traction as some of the other low budget guys. He does quality work. Thank you. If you're talking about me, I think that you are. I don't remember what Kumo said. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Thanks, man. Quan, by the way, I forgot to say, I love how your videos are shot and how you lay out your videos. They're very informative while still looking amazing. Great work. Thank you. Yeah, I tried to lay them out so they were really easy to follow. I use like the chapter markers and stuff like that. I used like Ranthem's intro style to like pretty much hook people in. My main goal behind making these videos is ultimately to inspire people to go build their own guns and become effective with them. Because as I build it, like if you can draw people in to like building their own, then it like puts an investment on their side, which I think is really cool. And it's like a huge part of being a gun owner. When you buy one, generally people seek training, they seek like knowledge on it. And so that's just like part of the industry. So if I can inspire people to build their own guns and get interested in it, that would do more for that person than me maybe training in a different way. So that's kind of my logic behind my videos. I hope that they're just inspiring people to get the itch and start studying and researching and getting involved on their own. So yeah, thank you. Augie, for me, it was just a fun hobby, but I quickly started seeing it was a way of protecting my most valuable asset, my life. Totally agree with you. Yep, totally agree. Now I have very expensive habits. Unfortunately, I do as well. Yep. Augie, are you a cinematographer by trade? The camera work and editing is A1. Yeah, so cinematographer, I'm a wedding filmmaker. That's my day job, I guess you could say. I own my own business. I've done it for the last like 4.5 years, almost 5 years. I've been shooting weddings. That's been like my main source of income. It's just what I do. So I kind of translated filming weddings, the cinematic style of filming weddings, and took all of the knowledge that I know about cameras and applied it to the gun industry, which is kind of what you're seeing now. I also got like pretty heavily involved in like, I haven't made any, but like course creation, I know like the process of that kind of stuff. So like knowing how to script and shoot and edit is just all what I do on a regular basis. So that's like why you're noticing a quality difference, because like this is my job and this is kind of just the side thing that I'm trying to build up. So yeah, kind of fun. 323 Pen, I am not a gun owner. I want to be, just don't know what I want and how to build. Yeah, so that's a really great like question to start. So like if you do want to get into the firearms industry or the firearms world, you just kind of figure out like if you have a need or a want, if you just want to buy your first gun as a complete whole gun, then that's totally something you can do. I mean, that's kind of what I did for the first gun that I ever built out, which was the 300 Blackout build that you've seen. Obviously, is like super customized now, but that's because over time I like put different parts on that I wanted. So you don't necessarily have to build out a gun. You can just buy one and become proficient with it, which is good. So there's a lot of resources on YouTube though. I mean, like my channel is just one of a ton where you can learn how, not necessarily how, but like the components that you'll need in order to build one out. And that's kind of what I want to do with this gun right here, is basically show like all of the components needed in order to build out an AR if you were going to do it at home. Like obviously this will be on a maybe larger scale than what a lot of other people would be doing, but the basics are there. And so that's what I'm going to go over. I think that's awesome that you want to be though. There are a couple questions that you can ask yourself, like what type of firearm do you want? Is it for home defense? Like what are you going to use it for? What are your long-term goals with it? If it's an AR, how are you going to train with it? If it's a handgun, are you going to carry it? All of those things kind of translate into like a route to take when buying your first gun. Like when I was thinking about carrying or like getting into the gun industry, I was like, well, I want something to protect myself, so I have to keep it on me all the time. And I want to train with it. So basically it like decided the way that I was going to carry it, the holster I was going to use, the size of the gun, and all of those things kind of compiled and moved towards like a subcompact handgun. So once you get into a category, then you can figure out exactly what you want based on either things that you've researched that you like or other people's recommendations. So that's what I recommend that you do. Dominique, you headed to SHOT Show this year. I haven't signed up yet. I've never been before. This is the first year. A lot of people are asking me if I'm going to go. I want to figure out if I can make it. I don't know if I can, but if I can, I'm definitely going to go. I think it'd be super fun, especially like connect with a lot of people in person. I know that a lot of people are going. So if I can make it there, then I would love to like do a meetup and like talk to everyone I can. Chad, recently subbed, saw your SPR and 300 blackout videos. Excellent stuff. I know you love Sharp's bulk carrier groups. I've really enjoyed the Geisley RE BCG. Their nano coating, DLC coating is crazy. Yeah, so I really like Geisley products. I think they make some great stuff. Sharp's kind of like came out of nowhere for me. I saw one of their videos, I think Tactical Toolbox did a video on it because I was trying to find like the best, and not the, like I was just trying to find a bulk carrier group that was doing things differently. And when I found Sharps and realized like actually how significant their product was, I was like, dang, I want to test this out and I want to see how good they actually are. And then when I actually started testing them out, I just fell in love with them. I mean, they're awesome. And just like you said, so like Geisley's coatings are awesome. Sharp's coatings are like crazy to me. When I did my 300 blackout video, I shot, I think it was so expensive. I shot around 300 rounds of 300 blackouts suppressed. All of it was suppressed. And that just like caked on the inside of my upper receiver. And I should have filmed it. I did not film it. I'm so dumb. But when I wiped off the bulk carrier group, it was clean. And it was like with no solution or no gun cleaner. Their coatings are crazy to me. And they do some type of process where it's like DLC plus a nano something else coating. I need to look it up again. But it just makes them super smooth and wear resistant, which I think is awesome. Not to mention they have like a ton of other things that I think are great about their products. Not to mention they're made out of S7 tool steel, which I've been looking up recently. It's just a ridiculously intense steel to use for a bolt carrier group, like a carrier and their bolt. Most people use a much softer material for the bolt carriers or for their carriers, and then their bolts are stronger, but they use S7 for both their bolt and the carrier, which I think is really cool. Look up S7 tool steel. That's what they use. Crazy stuff. So yeah, I think there are a lot of products out there like BCM bolt carrier groups. Like you're gonna find great stuff around the same price range. And if you get a BCM, like it's probably never gonna fail you, you know? But it just depends on what features you appreciate. And I don't know, like Sharps kind of came through for me in a lot of different ways. And I just really like their products. But I don't think you can go wrong if you go in a different direction. Christian Sig is just a name now. They are not a German quality. They are not German quality anymore. I'm a Walther and Canik guy. I really want a 2011 though. I don't. So I've shot Walthers quite a bit. I've shot like James Bond's Walther PPK, and that gun is very uncomfortable. I mean, there are a lot of very comfortable though Walthers that I've shot. My older brother is a huge Walther guy. He loves them. He's also a huge like James Bond fan, so he just like buys any Walther he can get his hands on. And I have shot his. I need to look up which one he has, but it's a very comfortable gun. I really just don't like their like mechanics for some reason. They just kind of throw me off. I don't know. And their trigger also kind of throws me off compared to training a lot with Glocks. Walther is just a little different. I haven't shot Canik very much though. heard that Canics are great though, so that's cool. I would like to shoot more Canics. I don't know if I would ever like keep and own one, but I think I would like to shoot one. Augie, outside of night vision, what does an Aimpoint Micro do that a Romeo 5 doesn't? I'm not making the case that it's just as good, but the case can be made that it's sufficient for 90% of AR owners. Yeah, I totally agree with you. So you're totally right. Like and I wasn't saying that one was better than the other. I was really just saying that like there are a lot of options out there for around the same price range or that like are comparable. And I'm not saying that SIG's bad at all. I think that there are a lot of options out there. That's just what I think. Like so, and I wasn't really like no shame on SIG at all. I would, and it just could be because my sour taste of their products in the past. I know they make great stuff. I know that their stuff is reliable when it is. There are a lot of brands out there though, like Aimpoint, where like you talk to anyone, they're like, my Aimpoint, I've thrown that thing on the ground like 500 times, and it has never failed on me. So you just hear stuff like that, and then you hear other guys. I've heard a lot of things about SIG where you're like, yeah, for some reason like this doesn't work anymore, but you never really hear that about Aimpoint. But that's all just hearsay and like talk. So if SIG products work for you, then that's what I recommend you get. If you're comfortable with SIG, whatever's going to make you more effective and whatever you train with better, that's what you should use. And that's my opinion on it. I think they're great if that's what you like. So yeah. But you're right. Yeah, like 90% of AR owners could totally buy a SIG, love it, train with it super well, and be super effective with it. So I have no problem with that. Mason says to Penn, the guy who was getting into firearms for possibly buying his first gun, I always tell people that are looking to buy their first gun to go to the range and rent different types of guns to see what fits your needs. Don't waste money like the rest of us. I actually completely agree with this. That is a step I forgot. I always recommend the same thing. I always say, so like, if one of my friends came up to me and was like, hey, which gun should I get? I'd be like, let's go out, shoot all of mine, and then like, let's get a couple other people with a couple different brands like Walther or Canic or SIG. And you can figure out what feels the best to you, what shoots the best for you, and what makes the most sense to you. So yeah, I totally agree with Mason on this one. Shoot them before you buy them. Christian, besides Ballistic Advantage, what else is a good barrel for the 300 Blackout? BA has failed me. No way. Tell me more about that. I'm curious. Ballistic Advantage has been really good barrels for me. I've really liked their stuff. They've been great. I know that, what's the name? Grantham actually is the other person who talks about these barrels all the time. Send me a DM. Dang, I wanna figure out the name. It's like, I wouldn't even be able to remember. My brain is toast right now. Send me a DM and we'll figure it out. But there is another company that I know makes really great stuff. Besides that, I mean, you can go with like the brands that people say never fail, BCM. They make barrels. I'm pretty sure they do. But mostly, I mean, they're just like OEM mil spec type of barrels. But if it's mil spec and it's built to quality, then it's not going to fail. I need to find a brand of that other one that everyone really talks about. I'll figure it out. Send me a DM. There is another brand though that I think I could recommend. I've really only used Ballistic Advantage and like Bear Creek barrels, which were like what I used to use because they were inexpensive and I didn't really know anything about them. But these days, I mean, I just kind of look to brands that are like well tested, and Ballistic Advantage, like they are really well tested barrels. I wonder what issues you've had with them. Tell me what issues you've had. I'm curious. But I have heard that actually Ballistic maybe went downhill for a second and had some issues, but I have never had issues with theirs. Brady says, I've got to go to bed, man, but again, you're doing awesome. Keep up the good work. I can definitely see you becoming a big channel. I hope so, man. Thank you. Thanks for staying this long. Joseph, what is your vision for the future of your channel? Yeah, that's a huge question. I want to build a community of people. I don't have this like perfectly figured out yet because this is all kind of new. Everything's kind of building more quickly than I thought it would. When I think about it, I just want to build a community of people maybe that don't think alike. Like if you have different politics or you think differently or you're not affiliated with religion or like, just all different people. And I want to bring you together in unity against one common enemy, which I believe, honestly, in a lot of ways is the government. I do not like the government. I have a lot of problems with them, and I'm probably going to get shadow banned for saying stuff like that. But I have a lot of problems with the government, and I think we need to change things. Nothing crazy. I think we should do it through legislation. I think we should bring power back to the three individual legislation. So there's balance. I think balance is important. So, I mean, that's a huge goal, obviously. I'd like to see gun rights obviously increase and gun laws for law-abiding citizens decrease. I don't think gun laws do a lot for protecting people. I think people protect people. So there are a lot of things. I have hefty goals. I think training is important. I think if I get to a place where I am educated enough to train, I think at some point I'd like to train. But for now, I just want to get people inspired to get involved in the 2A community and really just, find research for themselves and become proficient with firearms. Because again, like I've said this quite a few times on this live, I think they're important. I think they're important to understand. I know that I know that bad people have them, and I don't want us to be sitting ducks if a crappy situation had to hit the fan. And I don't want you to have to rely on other people. I want you to be able to be self-sufficient. So there are a lot of things. There are more. There's a lot more to the channel. Those are like huge goals, obviously. Overall, I just want a community of people who are willing to put in time and effort into becoming proficient with firearms and learning them. So I think that's like the small goal. I don't know. One day, I mean, honestly, I just love shooting and training and practicing. I think it's really fun. So like if all you got out of it was a new skill and had fun with it, then I think it's great. Because like that's really all I could ask for, as long as you actually are training and like becoming effective with it. So that's a lot, but I don't know. I'm sure the goals will change and improve over time. Maybe I'll sit down and create a actual like mood board of, not a mood board, like a goal sheet of what I want to achieve with the channel. But in my bio, like being able to protect yourself is important, and the community is important, and sharing high quality content in a professional way I think is important because it gets people involved. So that's a lot of what I do. .323 pen plus and for open carry and conceal carry. I think that was to something else. Rat Pack. Can you do a video on the Canik TP9? Yeah, I can look into that. I don't know. So right now, the channel doesn't have huge funding. Like I really don't. Most of this stuff comes from either me reaching out to companies and like, hey, begging them, not begging them, but like telling them, hey, I have a channel. Like if you want your stuff reviewed, I was going to buy it anyway, but if you want to send it to me, then I will review it. And the reason why I do that is because when I'm looking at a build or like inspired by something and I want to build it, usually I do a lot of research beforehand, figure out what the build's going to cost and stuff like that. And then if the parts can be sent to me, obviously that helps me get the build out faster and I get to test out stuff that I would have bought anyway. So having the subscribers is really big, really important, obviously, so I can like show brands that I am like gonna show off their product. And I will throw a product under the bus. I don't care really if it was sent to me for free. I don't like hold any value to, oh man, I want to be careful because like I'm not saying I don't care about the relationship because I really do, because they're companies that like I've researched really well. And so just know that like I'm when I do a review, I'm gonna tell the truth because I think that's important. I don't want you to go and buy something based off of my recommendation and have it break or like have a crappy experience with it. Anything that I use in my builds and use, like actually use, I do use it and I shoot the crap out of it and I make sure that I like it. And if I do like it, then I talk about it exactly how I think. And if I don't like it, then I talk about it exactly how I think. So that's kind of like how these builds come to fruition. I was talking about funding the channel. So that's why I like kind of made a merch store. I was trying to figure out other ways to fund the channel because it's like after building the website, everything just costs money. It all just costs money. And like, especially ammo and, just building out guns. Not every company reaches back out to me and says like, let's do it. So a lot of this stuff I have to pay for myself. So keeping the channel running has been difficult in that aspect. So when I do new builds, that's just kind of what it comes down to. So if I can afford it, then I'll do it. If I can't, then I have to wait. And that's just the way it is. So hopefully I can figure out how to like give back enough to where you guys feel like willing to support me. I hope that I'm creating enough value in the videos that I'm doing that is taking place. So that's one of my goals. I just want to provide enough value to you guys to where you feel like it's worth supporting the channel. And anyone who does, I am like so grateful. It's huge. It's huge for me. So it doesn't go unnoticed. Like I really appreciate it. So I'm trying to work on it. It's just one of those things. So when I do new builds, that's how that works. Any thoughts on the P365X macro? I haven't shot one yet. Still haven't shot one. I've held one quite a few times. I think they're really comfortable, and I think that they could be a great conceal carry. The customizability is not there. I have shared my impressions about buying the Glock that had just come out. Like I know that they test their products on a customer base. So if you have issues with your 365X macro, that's why. SIG just wants to know what's wrong with it so they can build a better version in a year and then resell it to you. So that's part of the reason why I haven't bought one yet. Other than that, I think they're coming. I think they're finally innovating. I wish Glock would innovate like that. I wish they would put better OEM mags in. I think it's really cool what SIG is doing. So good for them. I think it's going to be like the X Macro version 2. If they do make one, is going to be an incredibly cool gun. So that's something to look forward to. From what I've heard though, everyone who has one is like, yeah, it's a super cool gun. So that's cool. Mason says, love Tactical Toolbox, another great channel. Yeah, I totally agree. He's got a lot of great information. Chad, that makes sense. I've heard a lot of good stuff on sharps. I find that a quality lube helps too. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I personally use Slip 2000 EWL30. It's pretty thick and really stays on the bull carrier group, doesn't run. Yeah, it's actually important. Hmm, I might look into that. The one that I just use this like 3-in-1 all-purpose. It's probably like cringy to a lot of you. You're like, oh, 3-in-1. It's like, but from what I've seen so far, it runs really well. So it's linked in my kit. You can find it in the range and training gear kit. If you want to use it, it like cleans, takes off the carbon, and then also stays on pretty well. But it does dry up. So that's something that I have thought about switching over to or adding maybe a different one after I clean my guns. So I might look into what Chad is using. That's cool. Thoughts on the Holosun EPS carry MRS versus Holosun 507K for Glock 43X? Yeah, I talked about this a little bit at the beginning. I don't have really an opinion yet. I have used the Holosun 507K for a long time, so I know that those are good. And I think the EPS carry can be a really good thing. I think it's really cool. I like that they're innovating. Something to look into though is like look up Holosun EPS carry fails or like try to figure out if they are having issues. That's what I do when I'm looking up new products. I just try to figure out if they're failing or if they're having issues. And then usually I base like whether or not I'm going to buy one on that. But I know that the 507K has been out for a long time and they have withstood a lot of use for me. So I trust them so far. It's Holosun, so you never really know. It could break. I think the EPS carry though is cool. If I had a choice though, between if I was going to buy a Holosun or if I was going to save up a little bit more and buy a Trijicon, I would probably just save up more and buy a Trijicon because I think at some point I'm going to switch over the Holosun to the Trijicon RMR-CC. So that's something to think about. I'm the type of person who generally is like, I'll just save up a little bit more and get like the better thing. And I'm learning that more as I build out guns. So it is a good option though, like the Holosun 507K. But if you have the resources, I think you should go with Trijicon or something to that caliber. Chad, I'll do more research on the S7 tool steel for sure. I know heat treating is important with the materials. Yeah. Yes. So, yep. Look up S7. I think you'll be pretty impressed with the way that it's formed and how it all came together for them. It's cool. Chad, do you do any reloading? I'm getting into this year. Want to control my ammo quality. That's a really good idea. Also, might as well reuse all the brass. All current pricing makes Precision 30865 Creedmoor for about $1 a round. Dang. Yeah, I need to get into reloading. I don't. I haven't looked into like the machines that you need to buy. If I was going to do it, I would probably buy one of those electric ones that like pours all the powder for you and everything like that. But I know that you can be a lot more precise if you're measuring everything yourself. So if you're doing that, I think that's awesome. I do want to get into it. I'm not though right now. But that's cool if you are. Heck yeah. I might be sending you DMs and like asking you questions on recipes and stuff like that. So if I do get into it, then that'd be cool. Dominique, what do you think is your biggest hot take in the firearms world? Oh man, that's a good question. Hot take. There's I mean, it's a funny industry. It really is. Let me think about it. I think a lot of the time, so this is my hot take. People who are very experienced in the firearms world think they know everything, and that really bothers me. I think you just need to be teachable all the time with everything, and that's how you actually improve. That's how you become better, is if you're willing to learn from people maybe even that aren't as good as you, because everyone does things differently or in a more unique way, and if you take all of that knowledge, you're going to be better off than if you just think like, well, I know how to do that already. Like, for example, fundamental handgun training skills, a lot of people will be like, and like, I know exactly what I'm doing. And there's a lot of people in the industry who don't even practice fundamentals anymore. They just move on to like shooting faster and stuff like that. And those people tend to not be teachable. I think you should always be teachable, always learn from everyone. If they have something to say, I think it's really important to hear what they have to say and learn from it. Even if you already know it, just listen to it. There's something about hearing information, even if you already know it, that'll either remind you or recalibrate you to like a better understanding. Maybe have you think differently. If you're closed off to learning things like that or in that way, then you're limiting your growth. So stay teachable. Don't think you know everything if you've been in the industry for a long time. I don't know everything. I haven't been in the industry for a long time. I consider myself a beginner still with like a lot of this stuff because I've really only been in the industry for a couple years, and I've talked to people who have been in the industry for 20, 30 years who, I mean, like, they know a lot. I'm not saying that they know a ton, but if you're closed off and you think that you know everything, you're limiting yourself. So learn from everybody. That's my hot take. Don't close yourself off. I don't even know if that's a good one. That's what I've noticed lately. And like brand minded people who are like, Daniel Defense is the only way. And I have a friend who might be watching this right now, and he's like, yeah, Daniel Defense is the only way. But and like, no shame, no shame to that. But if you're a brand specific person, like, I just like Glock because they work for me, and I would like any gun if it worked for me. That's how I feel. Like, I would try anything. I think that there are a lot of guns that do things great. But if you're a brand specific person where you're like, no, I only use this brand because it's the best, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't think you really have looked at all the options, because if you had, you might have a different opinion on things. Like, I look at a lot of different options when I go into building guns. I don't just look at one. I do have companies that I love to use because their products have proved themselves over time for me. But I wouldn't consider myself a brand specific person, though I do have like preferences because I've built out things that work really well for me. But I'm open to anything. I think that there are a lot of options out there and a lot of things that can be good. So yeah, be open to different brands, even if you've never heard of them before. Augie, a micro T2 is $800 and the Romeo 5 is under 150. I don't know a single person that isn't a gun tuber that both has aim point money and literally throws in their guns around outside. Literally throws their guns around outside of their home. Yeah, hold on, let me read this again. A micro T2 is $800 plus, and the Romeo 5 is under 150. I don't know a single person that isn't a gun tuber that both has an aim point money and literally throws their guns around outside of their home. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. There is a price difference for sure, and that's where things totally make sense to me. A beginner putting on a Romeo or a SIG product, like, that totally makes sense to me. But at the same time, so let me think. This, yeah, no, you're right. So personally, when I look into things, so a lot of people say like, no, I don't have the money. Like, I can never save up for that. maybe it's just my mindset. I feel like if you want something, then you save up for it. That's how I've always been. I've worked for everything that I have. So when I've wanted something, I'm just like, I changed my mindset to I could never save up to that to how can I save up enough money to get that. So that's just the way that my brain works. I always think like, why would I settle for the SIG, $150 SIG, if I could save up for like, even if I had to wait a year, um, I would save up to get the better thing in my opinion, or like what made more sense for long term. So that's just the way that I think. But to a beginner who isn't planning on doing anything crazy with their gun, also like, I mean, as a civilian, we're really not taking these things into any military operations where it could, you know, be heavily damaged or whatever. So it makes sense to a lot of people to buy things like that. So it doesn't bother me. I think that it's fine. If you want to buy a $150 optic, then that's totally fine. I just think like you can find things that are really good that are used. So like the EOTechs I know are, you can find an EOTech EXPS or maybe just an XPS um, for like used for like $450, $500. Sometimes you have to be careful. There's a lot of counterfeits out there. But if it's $150, I'm just like, yeah, I might as well save up a couple more $100 and get EOTech. That's just the way I think. But if you only had $150 and you knew you would only ever have $150, then yeah, it makes sense to buy the SIG. Chad Cooper, Arrow, BCM, PCA, Danny Defense, all could be 300 blackout barrels. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, all good stuff. I would probably get a BCM before a PCA or PSA. That's just my opinion. PSA makes really good stuff. I've used their stuff in the past, and for how inexpensive it is really good. But again, I would save up a little bit more and maybe just grab a BCM. Israel, make more vids. Love the channel, by the way. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I'm working on a couple more vids right now, so definitely more in the books that are coming. Rat Pack, your channel aesthetic is definitely my favorite of anyone I've seen, and it inspires me. Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. I was trying to do something that felt a little bit different, a little more clean. I really like the like minimalistic style setup of stuff. So that's kind of where I went with things. Appreciate that. Physical hand, what up, daddy? Who are you? Who are you? That's so funny. What up, dude? You just wanted me to say that, didn't you? Malcolm, any hand guards, rails you recommend besides Aeronox? Have a 10.5 blackout build and want to run a suppressor, but they only have a 10.5 handguard. Great work, by the way. Yeah, so I have really, really loved Midwest Industries. That's what this one is. So this quad rail, this quad rail right here is Midwest Industries. There's a lot of things that I really like about them. This is a 10.3 barrel, and they make a bunch of different sizes of handguards. So it's like you're definitely going to be able to find the one that works best for you. Their anti-rotation locks that lock onto the upper receiver is something that I really love. I like the fact that they don't use pins all the way around, like 6 screws all the way around the handguard. I like that it's just 2 at the bottom. And they're like nice big fat hex wrench screws. I like their designs that they use. I like that they T-mark their stuff. I like that they have little, what are those called? QD mounts, like throughout their builds. Their combat rails are really light and they have M-LOK everywhere. They're made out of great materials, like the same stuff. I think 61 aluminum or whatever it's called. But it's like great aluminum mil spec stuff. They just make really good products. So I've always been impressed with Midwest Industries. Other than that, I mean, you can't go wrong with Geisley. You can't go wrong with. It's hard to like find a BCM rail. I don't know if you have like looked that up, but they usually only sell their like complete uppers, so that's kind of hard. But Midwest Industries, like I'm convinced they make some of the most solid stuff. I really just like their stuff. So besides that, let me think. I mean, yeah, I usually just stick with like the brands that are well researched. Yeah, I would look into Midwest Industries. They have been great for me. I really like their stuff. If I would, so this is Chad. If I was writing a business plan for the channel, it might be to build the content that I'd want to watch and create the community that I want to be. Dang, yeah, I really like that. That's sweet, actually. Yeah, absolutely. Like I do want to be able to watch my own videos and be like, yeah, that was actually pretty good. Yeah, which is why at some point I want to be able to have like Grantham style intros because I love his intro so much. So that's kind of the goal. I think it's true. Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Kevin, is a laser light combo for a handgun necessary, or is it better just to get a light only? Yeah, I've never used a laser light combo. I don't think I ever would. I I think it adds a little bit extra. I don't know if in a real situation you would ever like actually be pointing a laser at someone. Lasers to me are made for aiming with night vision. Like that's the only reason why I would ever use a laser, and they're made mainly for like the PEC 15 for ARs. I don't think I'd ever put one on a handgun. Yeah, I would just get a light. That's my opinion. Maybe a laser is a really effective way to aim. I've actually only shot one handgun where it had a laser on it, and I noticed that every time I took a shot, the laser was gone, and I had to like find the laser again, which took longer than just lining up my sight picture through the iron sights. So I don't know how practical they are. Something to think about. Maybe just shoot with them, and if you're effective at getting the laser back on target, then that's something that you should consider. Christian says, I've got two ballistic advantage barrels. The feed ramps were not to spec, I guess. The gunsmith said the barrels were also ruined because double feeds and casings stuck in the barrels. They have broken too. What? Well, I hope you reached out to Ballistic and told them that because they should fix their crap if it is their fault. And I would imagine, I mean, that's, yeah, feed ramp issues could easily be just like a mismachining issue. So I hope you reached out to them and told them that their stuff was crap because companies need to be held accountable if their stuff is crap. So, yeah. Oh, and you've broken two bull carrier groups. Dang. Yeah. Okay. So I missed that last part of it. That's crazy. Yeah. So that's good to know. Again, I mean, reach out to them, make sure that they know that their stuff sucks so they can fix the problem. I have not had those issues with ballistic advantage barrels, but that is something to think about. Tommy, any changes on the Glock 43X? What mags do you carry? Yeah, so no changes yet. If I was going to change anything, it would probably be taking off the Holosun 507K and replacing with an RMRCC. And then I'm either going to switch the Magwell to Katana's version 3 or the SLR because I really like SLR. What else would I change? Let's see. I'm like going through the gun in my head. Actually, I can just look at it right here. Yeah, those are two things that I would change right now if I was going to change anything. I really like the setup overall. I always have. And then I'm carrying the Shield arms mags right now. I have the 20 cap on the side and then the 15 in the gun to reduce printing. So that's how I've been carrying it. Sorry, and if you can't hear me, that's how I've been carrying it. And I've really liked it. The Shield mags have done well for me recently, especially in this gun. They've run flawlessly, and I've put a lot of rounds through it. My wife, Jessie, commented, "Are you sleepy yet?" Yes, I am sleepy. I'm going to end this pretty soon and then figure out the audio and try to make it better for the next one. So I'm going to get through these last like 20 questions and then I'm going to jump off. It is 1:30 here. Sorry, babe. I'm coming. Thanks for reminding me. King Joe, yo, what's up? What's up, bro? It's good to see you. Or just hear from you. Augie, you're definitely a Gucci gear type of guy, which is perfectly okay. Yeah, I am. And like Gucci's a tossed around word. I just like high quality stuff. I'm willing to pay more if it means that I'm going to have a product that I like more or something that will last longer. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I like to build out my guns, and so they fit what I need them to do and what I like them to do. So I will definitely spend more money if it means that it's going to work better for me. So yeah. Ghost, what are you looking at for your next EDC? So I don't know if I'll change from the 43XM OS. I really like the 43XM OS. I haven't had any issues with it, especially since like I finished the build besides like the RMRCC and the Magwell, which the Magwell is perfectly fine right now. They just came out with a new one. So I'm just looking into possibly switching that. But I love the 43XM OS. It's been a great handgun for me. It shoots really well for me. I'm effective with it. Yeah, it's great. I don't know if I'd switch. I can't even think of a handgun that I would switch to because this one is so custom to me and like fits all of my needs. Yeah, I'm just not sure I would switch over from it unless I can find something where it feels as good to me. So I don't know. I need to do some research on that and see if there possibly is something that would work better. King Joe, what are your thoughts on the SAR 9? I need to look it up. I don't have an opinion on it because I haven't researched it enough. Amazing Grace, Augie, does that mean an affinity for top-notch gear all the time? Yeah, I guess so. Raphael. Let's see, Raphael, any plans on getting an AK? Yes, there are plans on getting an AK. Stay tuned. I'm definitely working on getting an AK. I can't talk about a lot of it yet, but there are plans. Christian Rivera, back to saving up. I saved up since I heard of the Great Blackout Defense and B-Day Boy. Saving up. I saved up since I heard the Great Blackout Defense. Oh, nice. Buy complete upper 13.9. Can't wait to get it and cry. Nice. Stoked for you. Carlos, didn't know Stefan Shapiro was into guns. I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. Mason, when I came back from overseas here in a few months, I'll send you out a staccato to make a vid on it. What? Hold on. Mason, when I come back from overseas here in a few months, I'll send you out a staccato to make a vid on. No way. Dude, I would love to review a staccato. And also, that's awesome. Are you military right now? Out overseas? I think that's sick. Okay, first of all, if you are, thank you. And second, if you're going to send out a gun for me to review, that is incredibly cool. I'd love to review it. Yeah, thank you, man. Reach out to me on Instagram or something like that, because I'd love to talk with you more. That's cool. And like, no pressure. Obviously, I just think that's cool. Like, if you want to collaborate in some way, that's awesome. JC, any experience with Hodge handguns or barrels? Hodge. No, I'll look them up though. I haven't. Hodge. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about those. Market and church. What are your plans for the direction of your channel in 2023? Yeah, I talked about this a little bit. I don't have a specific, like, written down plan or anything like that. I didn't expect it to grow this fast, if I'm being completely honest. Overall, so short answer, I talked about this a little bit more, but short answer is I want to build a community of people who maybe just think differently and are all directed at a common enemy, I think, which is just like the government. I have a problem with government. They frustrate me all the time. I don't want to do anything crazy. I just want to bring balance back to legislation, and I don't know how to do that. But if you have a community, I feel like you have a voice, and I mean, people are power. So if I could create a community of people who are willing to bring balance and unity back to the nation, I think that's important. I also want to direct people to become more familiar with firearms and realize how important they are in our lives. Unfortunately, bad people will do have firearms and always will have firearms, no matter what laws are put in place. And I think it's important to know the functionality of them, how to effectively use them. If a crappy situation hit the fan, it all comes back to being self-sufficient and not relying on other people to protect you, essentially. So I just want to inspire people to get involved in this community. And if I can do that through making cool videos on like the builds that I've done and that inspire you to like, oh, maybe I want to build that, then that's a good start. And I would be satisfied if I can and inspire people to do those little things. Because I think once they get the itch, they'll start investing more time into themselves with like trading and looking up things and getting more involved in the industry in general. So that's kind of what I do, what I want to do. I just think unity is really important. I think even if we think differently, we need to come together. I'm sick of all this diversity. It's so tough. It's so frustrating. We need to stop killing each other. We're all on the same team at the end of the day. So we really just need to come together and unify and figure this out. So that's what I feel. Community is important to me. All right, a couple more questions here. JC, have any favorite drills you run when you get out to the range? Yeah, so I got a shot timer and I do a lot of like from concealment drills, generally because I train how it carries a lot of the time. So when I go out alone and I train, I'll do from concealment drills, which basically is like I'll tap my timer. When it counts down from 3 and I hear the beep, I will draw from concealment. And I usually go up. So like I start with one shot and then I do 5 shots on target. And then I go up to like, sometimes I do like a whole mag. So it just depends. And I try not to like waste a ton of ammo, but I just try to get really proficient with where I'm grabbing my shirt, pulling up, and like grip. I make sure that my grip is the exact same every time, and I also try to make sure that like I'm effective at my other hand, my follow hand. So like there's a lot of things that I work on. I really just try to get down basics, fundamentals. I work on a lot just to make sure that I'm proficient with those things, and I still suck. So it's important to do them very often. I say with a grain of salt. I train a lot. I think it's important to do so. I'm not as good as I could be, and I want to be better, so I train. But yeah, those are a lot of things I do. If I'm training in like kit, like with a plate carrier on and like a handgun on the side or with other people, then usually I'll do pistol rifle transition drills. And like my older brother builds out barriers and stuff like that, and I shoot at like distances. I have recently got into like shooting longer distances. I would say like 300 yards, and that's not long for a lot of people. Most people are like, oh, it's my normal training distance. It's not mine. My normal training distance is like 7 yards, 50 yards for like pistol handgun stuff. So getting out to 300 is different for me. So I have been doing that more with the new build. That's actually right over there. You can't see it, but T-Rex Arms has a lot of great training resources, which I have used. And if you're looking for new training or like training resources, T-Rex Arms is a great resource that you can use where he doesn't have you waste ammo. Like all of your shots should be effective at helping you get better at the fundamentals. So that's what I appreciate about him. I think he's good at that. So yeah, look up his stuff if you're doing that. But I usually, I usually just go out there and train how I carry. Chad, have a good night, man. Great to see you put in the work. You've earned some sleep. Yeah, thank you, bro. JC, finger placement on the trigger for your 43X. When I dry fire one-handed, the dot moves quite a bit. Any tips? Yes, so that's great. I'm glad that you're noticing where your tip is. Whoa, let me restart. Wow. I need to get off. Yes. So your full hand, make sure that you have equal pressure all the way around the handgun. So how do I describe this? So your full hand should be high up on the dovetail. Okay, and you should be having a positive grip with all of your fingers locked right here. And then your thumb should be high, like almost on the slide. I'm just doing like a mini training tutorial here. Your second hand should fill in this entire gap right here. So your palm is going to sit here. Your thumbs are going to go far up. And this is just where I put mine. Sometimes I'll set it on my light, but most of the time it sits like up here. And then that way, when I wrap my fingers back around, like these lock, this locks, and then my thumb sits on top and my thumb sits forward. So that's kind of what like my shooting grip looks like. And then that allows me to have equal pressure all the way around the handgun. And then your finger should be cutting the trigger in half. So like hold on, let me figure out how to. Your finger, it should be cutting it in half from like wherever you're. Gosh, how do I explain this? The kink in your finger, okay? It should be cutting it right in half. It shouldn't be, your trigger shouldn't be here, and it shouldn't be like on the tip. It should be right in the middle. So when you're shooting, you'll feel it. It'll be pulling straight back. So that's the thing. And then really just focus, like when you dry fire, pull your trigger back super slow, and then you'll feel the click, and you'll feel like obviously you're gonna feel the trigger. If you're pulling back super slow, then you'll be able to control the firearm a lot better. And then when you do that more and more, the goal isn't to shoot fast. The goal is to shoot accurately, right? So pull the trigger really slow until you feel the break, and then practice like not allowing your muzzle to move at all. And you will as your grip improves. Grip is huge though, and finger placement on the trigger is huge. I'm trying to think of how I could better describe that. It's so much easier to show in person. Maybe I'll do a video on that one day. I know that my brother did go over a lot of those things. So like when I did my Glock 19 video and Austin shot it, who was like a complete beginner. You're probably not a complete beginner, but he was a complete beginner. And he did have like his finger was in the wrong spot, and he was leaning back in weird ways, and his grip wasn't perfect. So there's the fundamentals are grip and make sure your finger's in the right spot and slow trigger pull. So that should help. Oh, I meant you look like Stephen Shapiro. I need to look him up. I don't know. I haven't seen him. That's funny though. Oh man. 376 MCL Proof Research CF barrel 223 wild 14.5 717 versus 1.8. What say you? Proof Research. Are you telling me to Proof Research, or is Proof Research the brand? I'll have to look it up. I really like 223 wild barrels. 1.7 I heard is for like just regular M80 ball ammo that's traveling at like over 3,000 feet per second. I heard it just lobs it at the right twist rate to like get it to go where you want it to. So like twist rate has a lot to do with getting the round to go as far as you need to. I've heard like a couple of different things, but there's not, from what I've heard, there's not a huge difference between 1.7 and 1.8 twist. I don't think you can go wrong. I think most of my barrels are 1.7 twist though, but I don't think I would be like all upset if I got a 1.8 twist, because it has less to do with like it has less like if you're not very specific about the ammo you're using, then it's probably not that important to worry about the twist, is what I'm saying. So do a little bit more research on the twist. 1.7 is the preferred, I know. Like a lot of people generally tend to lean in the 1.7 direction. But 223 wild, I think is way better in a lot of ways. But generally their barrels aren't as like heavy. So like if you want a barrel that is like a true combat barrel, generally people go with like a 1.7 twist heavy. And that is like the heavy duty that's going to last and like won't wear down after so many rounds. So, but I all of my 5.56 guns are 223 wild. My 16-inch and this 10.5 is a 223 wild. So I really like them. 14.5 is great. So when you start messing with the length of a barrel, you also start messing with gas timing, which I don't know really enough about to talk about specifically, but I know that certain brands have dropped certain barrel lengths because of gas timing. So that's important to look at, because it does affect your overall like function of your rifle if you don't get the gas tuning right. So if you don't know a lot about gas tuning, then you should be careful about what barrel length you go with. So that's something to think about. 16-inch barrels are standard, not only because of ballistics, but also because of gas timing. And 10.5 barrels are the same way. So something to think about. I haven't heard anything bad about 14.5 barrels. I've just heard gas timing is important to get correct. So yeah, something to think about. I like the idea of it though, because if you pin and weld a 14.5, then it becomes 16-inch, and you can still, you can have like a basically 14.5-inch barrel, and then you can put a stock on it because it's technically a 16-inch if you pin and weld it. Carlos, glad I came across your channel though. Good quality content and nice, thorough reviews of your guns and gear. Have a great night, man. Can't wait to see your channel grow. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. JC, you're awesome, man. Great channel. I hope you grow. Keep spreading positive energy. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that, JC. The tip comment. Yeah, man, I need to go with that. Okay, just getting through these last ones. Rusty, glad to see more content from you. I'm looking forward to the future videos. The Gunman brand clothing is great. Wanting to get one of those Champion branded, Champion windbreakers at some point. Dude, I love this thing. I wear it. I wear it every day. So even if it's like a little too warm, I'm like, I'm still gonna wear it because they're breathable, but they're still like water resistant. So I really like them. My opinion though, I'm working with a new brand designer right now to like create an actual logo for me. All of the clothing that you see are like designs that I created. I don't think they're bad by any means. I wear them all, but I don't think they're as good as they could be, which is why I hired someone to help me create like an actual brand. And that's going to be coming out later in the next couple months. I'm going to rebrand all of the merch, and it's going to look really good. So if you're waiting, I would wait a little bit longer. New merch is on the way, and it's going to be way cooler, in my opinion. So yeah, just wait a little longer, and I'm gonna probably have these same windbreakers just with the new branded stuff. So stay tuned for that. But thank you, man. Appreciate that. JC, last question. Do you have any concerns switching out of the? Oh yeah. Do you have any concerns switching out the OEM trigger on a carry gun? Yes. The only reason I was willing to switch out the OEM trigger on my carry gun was because of Johnny Glock's like basically the way that he does things. He convinced me that it was just as safe. And the reason why he convinced me is because he uses OEM parts and then he just polishes and refines them. So all of the internal basically fire control group that it comes with, if you look at the part number on the fire control group or on like the trigger bar and then back to the end piece that like connects into the back of your frame, it's all OEM spec Glock material. So he basically buys OEM parts from Glock and perfects them, which I'm like, that is just as good, if not better, than what Glock is offering, because it is better. It's a literal hand polished product from Glock. So that's why I went with Johnny Glock's originally. And also, he is a very safety oriented guy, which I appreciated. And I knew I wanted a different trigger feel. So when he came out with his new shoe, I was like, yeah, definitely going to try it out. And so far, it's been very reliable, and I haven't had any issues with it at all. So that's why I go with Johnny Glock's. Generally, yes, I am very hesitant touching any of the internals of any of my guns. When it comes to handguns, I feel like they're very touchy. So in my opinion, do not touch the internals of your handguns unless you are very sure that it is good, better, and no, better, if not like even better than OEM. So yeah. Chad, twist rate is for stability. Yeah, that's true. Lower ratio, stabilize, heavier rounds. Yes, all things being equal. Yes, so that's true. That's what I was trying to say. I'm sorry. Yes, you're 100% correct. 16-inch is also standard because arbitrary gun laws and rules. Yes, also very true. Okay, last question of the night. Do they make metal mags for the Glock 17 or 19? I have not seen any. I was trying to find some when I was having issues with the Hive metal mag catch. I do not believe that those exist. I know that there is a crazy 40 round, maybe it's a 30 round one that like this random company makes, but I don't think it's reliable. So I haven't seen any metal mags on the market for those two guns. I wish they did. Okay, I said that was the last question, but one more rolled in here. You seen anything new? Outer Belt by Pale Horse Concepts. You can adjust the number of Molly rows available. Never seen anything like it. Oh, that's cool. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, that sounds really cool. I don't really use a battle belt incense, so I haven't really looked up any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, thank you guys for staying this long. This was a super long live, 2.5 hours. I need to cut these down to an hour because I want to do them more often. And I'm definitely going to fix this audio, and I'm definitely going to make these a more regular thing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, one more, Lazarus. What level FFL are you? I'm just turning in, and I'm a future gunsmith. Oh, nice. I'm just tuning in. Oh, shoot. Sorry, Lazarus. I was about to end the live, man. So I am not an FFL. I am just a guy who does this. Thank you for the keep up the good work. Yeah, I'm really trying to keep up the good work, trying to stick in with this because I want this to grow. But no, I'm not an FFL. I don't know if I ever would be. Maybe one day if I ever get into like gun manufacturing, I think I would. But in order to become an FFL, you have to show proof that you're willing to like actually start a business and start selling firearms. And that's something that I don't know if I'm ready to do right now. So I'm just a normal guy, normal civilian. Awesome, guys. Okay. If you have any questions that I missed, send me a DM. Looking forward to it. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I post a lot of the updates for things. I'll let you know when I'm going to go live moving forward. And I try to get back to DMs when I can. But I am pretty busy, so I'll get back to you when I can. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to end this. Much respect. Still earned a new sub. Thank you, Lazarus. I appreciate that. Oh, crap. Hopefully I got, yeah, Lazarus. Thank you, guys. Okay.